Terence, but Crawford's training camp for his upcoming super middleweight clash with Canelo Alvarez is in full swing. On his first day back, Crawford showcased sharp combinations, explosive footwork, and intense focus. His camp emphasizes strength, stamina, and strategic sparring with partners mimicking Canelo's style. Despite moving up to 168 pounds, Crawford remains confident, stating, "I'm going to shock the world." The bout is scheduled for September 12th, 2025, at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. Crawford's leg day in camp is a testament to his discipline and dedication. His routine includes squats, lunges, and resistance training, all designed to build lower body strength and endurance. This work enhances his footwork and balance, crucial assets for facing a powerful opponent like Canelo Alvarez. His commitment to every training aspect reflects his focus and readiness for the challenge ahead.
Right.
How's that feel? Good life?
All right, let him up.
Good life?
Three, teach and build. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
In sparring sessions, Crawford's been sharpening his jab, using it to control distance, disrupt rhythm, and set up combinations. Training with partners emulating Canelo's fighting style, he displays the ability to switch stances seamlessly, keeping opponents off balance. His jab-centric strategy is a key element in his plan to neutralize Canelo's power and dictate the pace of the fight.
Watch the right hand for the decoy.
Y'all know chess?
Nice. Nice.
That's how I start work. You know how to work. You know how to get the most out of everything. Good job, Chad.
Former world champion Andre Ward believes Crawford's boxing intelligence and determination can overcome the weight disparity with Canelo. Ward emphasizes Crawford's mental toughness and adaptability, which he believes make him a serious threat despite the size disadvantage.
I'm going with Terence Crawford. You know, big weight jump, a dangerous fight, but somebody's got to prove to me that they can break Terence Crawford's will and that he can't figure it out against you. You know, it ain't no disrespect toward Canelo, but I've said this the last couple of years. I'm not betting against Terence Crawford against nobody right now. You got to show me that you can.
Boxing legend Nonito Donaire highlights Crawford's exceptional footwork and mobility, pointing out that his movement could be a crucial factor in outmaneuvering Canelo and securing a victory.
You know, Canelo's a stronger guy, the bigger guy, but in the fight with a guy that moves around, and if Crawford uses his skills and his legs and his technique and just his ability, I think he can win. He can win the fight in decision, as long as he doesn't get hit with those big shots from Canelo.
Amir Khan, who has shared the ring with both fighters, notes that while Canelo is powerful, he is also vulnerable to getting hit. Khan believes Crawford's defensive skills and quick reflexes make him a difficult target, potentially giving him an advantage.
I fought them both. Like, what are the differences between them?
Canelo's strong and is easily hit. Very easily hit, very easily. Compared to when I fought against Crawford, I couldn't even hit clean. They both hit hard because, and you could see the strength when I was fighting against Crawford. He is very strong as well. So, look, yeah, but why does he need to give that much away? He's pound for pound #1 in the world. Why does he have to go up and fight Canelo?
Shakur Stevenson praises Crawford's versatility, stating that Bud can do anything regardless of his opponent's size. He highlights Crawford's ability to adapt and implement various strategies as a key reason why he's such a dangerous contender.
Where do you think he could go?
Canelo.
Canelo said he don't. He's like
Canelo, man. Canelo
like,
got to get off that shit. And I think the best versus the best.
You don't think the size difference is gonna play a factor again?
I mean, that's y'all opinion.
Yeah.
That's everybody else's opinion.
You don't
But
think
my
that?
opinion is different. I think that Bud could do anything that he want to do. I think that with Charlo, it was just a different story. I think Bud got the skills that can keep him at that high level with Canelo, where the size won't play a part. And I seen, honestly, like, Canelo is a great fighter. I don't take nothing away from him. I see a lot of holes.
Canelo Alvarez's recent bout against William Skull raised concerns about his current form. The fight saw a record-low total of 445 punches thrown over 12 rounds, highlighting Alvarez's lack of aggression and activity. Critics are questioning whether the 34-year-old still has what it takes to compete at the highest level, particularly against faster, younger opponents like Terence Crawford.
And after really the Triple G fight is when we've seen the slippage on Canelo. And over the last 2 years, it's been immediately apparent. It's been apparent straight away over the last 2 years. Canelo's feet have always been slow. He's always been very slow-footed. So when people are saying, oh, it looks like his legs are slowing down, yeah, they are. They've never been quick, but now they're even slower, which is a problem. And Jim Lampley on commentary on Friday night show was saying that one of Canelo's biggest strengths is his legs. It generates power and it helps with his punch resistance. Well, those legs are sliding and that power is diminishing. Canelo hasn't had a stoppage win now since he knocked out Caleb Plant in 2021. And yeah, he's dropped some of these guys, not been able to go through the gears. His gas tank, you can put that into question as well. And Canelo Alvarez, come July, be 35 years old. So he is, look, Canelo's been around so long and his real prime was in his mid-20s. So we associate Canelo, mid-20s to early 30s. So we kind of associate Canelo with that. I don't want to say ever young, but you know, he is still young, just not in boxing senses. But he's been around so long, 20 years a pro, and he's been at world levels for probably 15 of those. You're going to expect some slippage. And I think in this fight, an opponent, it was very negative, yes, but an opponent who Canelo Alvarez of 5 years ago would have handled.
Known for his aggressive style, Canelo managed only 152 punches in that bout, leading to further concern over his form and agility. Observers pointed out his lack of urgency and dominance, suggesting that age and accumulated ring were maybe diminishing a performance just ahead of a major challenge in Terence Crawford.
And it left us with the question, how much does Canelo actually have left in his pro career? The fight was finished, and then they brought Terence Crawford in the ring to announce that mega fight in September, and that leaves me with even more questions, and thank God they did that, because actually it gives us a few interesting talking points from There's Enough Left. Well, you could argue Canelo got it tactically wrong tonight, because I just don't understand why he didn't use his jab more. I understand that he was conserving energy, he was patient, he was taking it slow. He doesn't lead off with the jab much anymore, Canelo. But really, the jab helps you bring your feet closer and bring them into range, so I don't understand why he wasn't jabbing more. It can't use that much extra energy for him to not be able to use his lead hand just a bit more in that fight. So that was a bit concerning. And you could maybe argue that he knows Crawford's ringside. He knows the fight is done for September. He maybe doesn't want to show him too much, or he wants to give him maybe false confidence or false hope. I don't think that's the case. I think you get rid of Skull if you can. And I'm just not sure Canelo is able to do it anymore at that level. Definitely good enough to beat a guy like Skull. Skull was clearly terrified of the power, but, what does this mean for a fight like Crawford? Well, the first thing I noticed was, in the face-off, and I'm sure Crawford was wearing quite thick-soled trainers, as he quite often does, but the size difference didn't look that bad. It really didn't. I thought there was way more of a size difference between them. But actually, Canelo, yes, will weigh more on the night, almost questionably, but Crawford's taking the whole year to work his way up to 168, having been at 154 in his last fight. That's like 14 pounds, which is 7 kilos difference of weighing on the night. Now, Canelo would probably be like 10, 15 pounds heavier than him, but at the end of the day, what Skull was able to do in there tonight...
Crawford has long maintained that boxing is not just about knockouts, but about skill, strategy, and intelligence. His approach focuses on precision, timing, and adaptability. Against Canelo, Crawford's ability to outthink and outmaneuver rather than overpower could be the deciding factor in neutralizing Canelo's strength.
Look up the definition of boxing. Please look up the definition of boxing. The martial arts of boxing, and then come back with your opinion. Because boxing is not all about knocking somebody out. Yes, that's part of it. That can happen. But boxing is a sport where you can outpoint somebody too. That's why they go to the scorecard.
I appreciate that take, bro. That's real, real educated, man, real thoughtful. But you know, you ain't had a decision win in a long time, bro. You know, you known for like being a great finisher. So I appreciate that. But that ain't how you moving, though.
Right.
After moving up to 154 pounds, Crawford claimed the WBO interim super welterweight title. While some noted a drop in knockout power compared to his 147-pound days, his technical prowess and strategic adaptability remain. His ability to stay composed under pressure reinforces his capability to compete at the sport's highest levels.
You understand me? You see what that say? Jamel Charlo is the WBA junior middleweight champion in recess. Jamel Charlo is the WBC junior middleweight champion in recess. Know what I mean? Virgil Ortiz Jr. is the WBC intern junior middleweight champion. Know what I mean? So make it make sense. People got to make it make sense. Charlo's still a big dog there. Yeah, that's my camera behind me. Charlo's still a big dog there. So a lot of people need to get their facts straight. Understand? Opinions don't matter. It's all facts. No opinions. Sport podcast. And I'm always going to bring you the real, never the fake. And I'm never late on the news. You hear me? Get at me, man. Dollar.
Be great. That'll be 3 times. If you go 154 and win the belt, that's 3 times super. Mm-hmm. Then I said, chase super greatness. Come on, Canelo. 160.
Well, if he can get in there with Charlo in like his next 2 fights where he still got age on his side, then maybe go up again. Like if he's trying to chase the greatness. But I mean, he already done something that's never been done. Charlo don't want none of that.
Dmitry Bivol, one of the few to defeat Canelo, believes Crawford has the tools to challenge him effectively. He points to Crawford's speed, movement, and reflexes as significant advantages, and acknowledges that although moving up 2 weight classes is tough, Crawford is a complete fighter who can adapt to the demands.
I think Crawford wants this fight a lot. He wants this fight, and I think he will be more active than Canelo's previous opponent, and he has different mentality. He has champion mentality. I think fight will be much more interesting.
What do you make of the weight in that fight, the weight difference?
I think Crawford will not let Canelo just walking on the ring when he wants, you know, because we could see this fight. Canelo did everything. When he want to rest, he could rest easy, you know, in this fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, when he wants to work, that guy didn't give him work. It just rest.
And
I think with Crawford, it will be harder to rest.
Who do you think wins?
I don't know. It's a very interesting fight, but I don't know. We'll see.
Super middleweight contender David Benavidez believes Crawford's skills and work ethic could lead to an upset victory. Despite the size disadvantage, Benavidez emphasizes Crawford's boxing IQ and adaptability, stating, "If anybody can beat Canelo, it's Crawford."
The Ring magazine, which is owned by Turkey, reported that Canelo and Crawford have agreed to the September date and that it's essentially on. What is your I know this has been rumored and talked about, but now it seems like a done deal. What's your reaction to this?
It's a good fight. You know, it's a good fight for both of them. Good fight for, I think it's more important for Crawford than anybody, you know, but I think if anybody could beat Canelo, I think Crawford could.
I know you said like he could be the guy. What kind of a chance do you ultimately give him?
I think you give him like a 7 out of a 10.
Oh, 5,
no,
just because
Crawford
of the
is
size.
good. Crawford is good, and I think he's been known that he's going to fight Canelo for a long time. And you know, Crawford he likes to pick up the weight, so I'm sure he's been working on the weights for a long time. So, you know, Crawford, when he has with a person that has a big IQ like that, if you do enough weights, you know, and you stay working for a long time, you know, you have a
Renowned trainer and commentator Teddy Atlas has expressed strong confidence in Crawford's ability to defeat Canelo despite the weight difference. Atlas points to Crawford's mental toughness, skills, and adaptability as key reasons why he could pull off the upset.
Well, come on, he's human. So he had a few hiccups. He won the fight. He's Terence Crawford. A lot of people say, "Oh, Teddy, you make him so good. You're always saying how great Crawford is." But who's he beating? He unified the what was his first division? Lightweight. Then he unified the junior. Then he unified the junior welter, then he unified the welter. I think I got the weight classes right. It doesn't matter. He unified like 3 different weight classes. He moved up in weight. He's beaten anybody that they put in front of him. He beat an undefeated fighter in Errol Spence that everybody thought was just like, one of the best fighters out there, which he was. Fighters pound for pound out there, and he didn't just beat him, he dismantled him. He might have ruined him. We were talking about getting ruined in fights earlier. He might have ruined him. We don't know. He hasn't been back yet, Spence. He may have psychologically, physically ruined him. But he has done everything asked of him, and he's done it in a superb way. It's not that he's just won. I look at how people win. How versatile are they? How mentally together are they? What happens when they're tested? What happens when they have to make an adjustment? I look at all those things. What happens when they can't depend on power? What else do they have to depend on? I look at everything, their technique, their defense, their offense.
Atlas further emphasizes Crawford's ring intelligence and stance-switching ability, noting that his control of pace and distance, along with his speed and defense, could neutralize Canelo's trademark power and counterpunching.
Guys are tired of me saying it. I look at him. Look, Canelo's special too. I get it. And he's bigger. I get that too. And everyone's going to say, well, after Madrimore fight again, had a couple hiccups. Now he's stepping up another weight class. Now he's got to fight Canelo, who's even bigger, stronger, better puncher, a unified champion that he's been, all of that stuff. He's not going to be able to handle it. I asked this question. See, I go to the other side. I say, okay, yeah, can Canelo handle the smaller guy who's going to be faster, who's going to be slicker, who's going to be better defensively, who's going to have better legs, who's going to be able sometimes Canelo at this point in his career can slow down a little bit. They're both getting older.
In response to Atlas's prediction, Canelo dismissed the comments, claiming that Atlas doesn't know boxing. The remark highlights the rising tension and differing opinions surrounding this high-stakes matchup.
He went on the rant with Teddy Atlas.
What's that mean?
He said you're the most overrated Mexican champion in history. He said that Salvador Sanchez.
Más popular,
pero sin causa.
Canelo reportedly went on a rant in response, saying, "You're the most overrated Mexican champion in history," referring to Atlas. He also brought up Salvador Sanchez. The boxing world is now eagerly anticipating this high-drama clash between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, which promises to be a career-defining encounter for both fighters.
It's finally happening, y'all. We have Terence Bud Crawford going up against Canelo Alvarez on September 12th, and this is what boxing fans have been waiting for. Terence Bud Crawford has some of the best hands I have ever seen. But this man right here with this red beard got some of the most powerful punches that boxing has ever seen. This is going to be a fight that we all have been waiting for. These are the bouts that make UFC, because in the UFC, the best fight the best. But in boxing, that seldom happens. Like why haven't we had Shakur Stevenson versus Tank Davis yet? This is sometimes boxing, for whatever reason, decides not to give us the fights that we actually want to see. But finally, thanks to some Saudi money, clearly, we are going to get one of the biggest boxing events of the last 10 years. All right. This is like Manny versus Floyd, but at the prime of their careers. I'm excited for this. Y'all let us know who you think is going to win. Is it Terence Bud Crawford or Canelo Alvarez?
That's it for today's video.